The ancient Celts encompassed a variety of tribal groups that inhabited parts of Western and Central Europe during the Late Bronze Age and the Iron Age, spanning roughly from 700 BCE to 400 CE. While named by ancient writers, the Celts weren't a unified entity but a diverse collection of tribes with a shared culture that spread across territories from Portugal to Turkey. Connected by a common Celtic language and shared characteristics in art, warfare, religion, and burial customs, these tribes left their mark on the European landscape. Even as the Roman Empire absorbed much of Celtic culture starting from the 1st century BCE, the spirit of the Celts persisted in remote corners of Europe such as Ireland and northern Britain, where Celtic languages are still spoken today. The term Celts is commonly used to refer to various peoples living in Iron Age Europe north of the Mediterranean before the Roman conquest. However, it's a somewhat problematic label. The diverse tribes didn't form a single nation but were distinct entities, often with limited direct interactions. This term simplifies the intricate relationships between different tribes, the overlap of cultural traits, and the unique features specific to individual groups. Nonetheless, despite these complexities, the label remains useful for convenience and doesn't negate the era's cultural interactions, trade, warfare, and migrations. Celtic culture's roots are traced back to three interconnected and preceding cultural groups. The Urnfield culture, from around 1300 BCE, practiced cremation and burial in urns, although it remains obscure due to limited archaeological evidence. As iron technology spread across Europe in the first millennium BCE, replacing bronze for stronger tools and weapons, the Hallstatt culture emerged. Flourishing primarily in Western Austria, southern Germany, and surrounding areas, Hallstatt's prosperity relied on local resources like salt, iron, and copper, which were valuable commodities traded along waterways. The La Tène culture, 450 BCE to 50 BCE, identified by shared art and religious traits, expanded over Western and Central Europe. Ironworking, votive offerings in water sources, weapon depositions in tombs, and unique art characterized this era. The La Tène culture, while not exclusively Celtic, saw significant trade, especially around major river junctions. Despite its imprecise correspondence to all Celtic peoples, the term La Tène is often used synonymously with Celtic culture in the latter half of the first millennium BCE. One remarkable unifying aspect among many Iron Age European groups was their language. Celtic, part of the Indo-European language family, Celtic languages were divided into Insular Celtic and Continental Celtic. The latter group, including Gaulish, declined with the Roman period, leaving only references in ancient writings. The Insular Celtic group includes British or Brittonic, Breton, Cornish, Welsh, and Goidelic, Irish, Scots Gaelic, Manx. Brittonic was widely spoken in Roman Britain and evolved into various modern languages. Goidelic Irish has endured through transformations, leading to the present-day Irish language. As the wheel of time turns, the ancient Celts left their indelible mark on Europe's history and culture, and their legacy lives on through languages, traditions, and the echoes of their dynamic past. In the tapestry of the ancient Celts' lives, religion was a vibrant thread, intricately woven with a tapestry of gods and rituals. Polytheism, the worship of multiple gods, was at the heart of their spiritual landscape. Although written records from the Celts themselves are scarce, glimpses of their beliefs come from the words of classical authors and the echoes left in history. In the embrace of nature, sacred groves whispered secrets, rivers sang stories, and springs whispered promises. These natural sites held a sacred reverence in Celtic religion. The Celts expressed their devotion through votive offerings, gifts to the gods. Among these gifts were food, weapons, and sometimes even the rarest offering of all, human sacrifice. The belief in an afterlife found voice in the act of placing valuable and everyday items alongside the deceased in their resting places. Animals, revered as totems, held a protective power over the Celts. The stag's majesty and the boar's ferocity embodied spiritual strength. Yet, their reverence didn't end there. The human head, believed to house the soul, held a place of deep significance. In crafting taboos, the Celts safeguarded their sacred beliefs and bound their communities in shared norms. Guiding this intricate web of beliefs were druids, the spiritual leaders. These enigmatic figures held knowledge close, preferring oral tradition over the written word. No sacred texts or written hymns survived the ebb of time, leaving their mysteries to our imagination. Ceremonies led by druids were shrouded in mysticism and conducted in sacred spaces like groves. Celtic gods, often shrouded in mystery, danced through the shadows of ancient belief. Cernunnos, the horned god, embodied nature and fertility, while Lugus or Lu, the sun god, graced the heavens as all-wise and all-seeing. Goddesses like Sequana, personifying the river Seine, and Epona, linked to horses, brought healing and vitality. Some gods stood as trios, perhaps representing various facets of divinity. The matrony, a trio of mother goddesses, embodied strength, power, and fertility. The Celts lived within a complex society, their interactions governed by hierarchies. Rulers and elite warriors reigned at the summit, followed by religious leaders, the Druids. Craftworkers, traders, slaves, and farmers formed the foundation of rural agrarian societies. Monarchs gave way to elected chiefs or councils of elders, as tribes joined for mutual strength or dependence. Celtic societies flourished in unity and diversity. Elected chiefs or councils steered tribes through trials, and powerful confederations formed as a shield against Roman influence. Notably, some remarkable women emerged as tribal leaders, like Cartamando and Boudicca, the fierce queen who faced down Roman rule. Kinship played a vital role, as rulers and extended families held power through landownership and trade revenue. Ties deepened through fostering, binding families and tribes. An intricate system of welfare and protection echoed a form of feudalism, save for slaves who occupied a different realm. As society evolved, movement between social strata wasn't bound by rigid walls. With wealth, education, or apprenticeship, paths could shift, fostering mobility and opportunities. Amid these intricacies, the cultural landscape flourished, a tapestry woven from threads of spirituality, governance, and kinship. The Celts, renowned for their intricate artistry, left behind a legacy woven from diverse influences. Their art, a fusion of indigenous styles and inspirations from distant lands, adorned various mediums, from pottery to gold. Influences from neighbors like the Greeks, Etruscans, and Romans, as well as exotic materials like glass and amber, enriched their creations. Celtic artisans wielded their mastery over metal, stone, and more. Ornate cauldrons and bronze shields showcased their skills. Gold torques, delicate penannular brooches, and animal figurines held significance in their rituals. Human figures carved in sandstone and wood added to the artistic tapestry, while votive offerings held sacred meaning. Trade bound the Celtic world to distant horizons. Tin from Britain, amber from the Baltic, and horses from Eastern Europe found their way into Celtic domains. In exchange, wines flowed in, alongside silver, luxury goods, and the materials needed for their craft. Trade not only quenched resource needs but also ignited a cultural exchange of ideas, art, and technology. Warfare was a rhythm that echoed through the Celtic culture. Their gods, adorned with attributes of war, bore witness to their courage. With hair bleached by lime water and bodies adorned with designs, Celtic warriors painted an enigmatic picture. Their battle attire included torque necklaces, signifying status. They were a force to be reckoned with, and women warriors also joined their ranks. In battle, the Celts wielded long swords, spears, and shields, rectangular or oval. Their armies boasted cavalry, chariots, and slingers, and were organized by standards and war horns. Their ferocity shook Europe, from the Gallic sack of Rome to looting Delphi. Although unmatched in large-scale battles against disciplined foes like the Romans, their bravery saw them become sought-after mercenaries. In the Celts' quest for resources, oppida, fortified settlements, emerged, providing refuge and centers for trade. Yet, as the Roman Empire expanded, conquest followed. Rule fell to Julius Caesar, and the Celts faced assimilation into Roman culture. While continental Celts blended into this new world, the legacy of their traditions found refuge in isolated havens like Ireland and northern Britain. The Celts' once vibrant tapestry now unraveled as the Roman Empire cast its shadow. As conquest and assimilation took hold, Celtic culture began to fade from the continental landscape. Yet, pockets of resistance and resilience held firm. In lands like Ireland and northern Britain, the old ways endured, finding expression in literature, art, and unique curvilinear designs that graced manuscripts and crosses alike. Amid the ever-changing tides of history, the spirit of the Celts lived on, leaving behind an indelible mark on the annals of time.